This video is all about using film and film cameras for night photography, with some of my night photographs shown later on in the video. Night photography using film can seem a little daunting with no digital camera LCD preview to look at and other technical things to take into account. Some of the popular questions regarding night photography are: how do I get the correct exposure at night? What aperture do I set? How do I calculate film's reciprocity failure times? It's hard to focus through the camera viewfinder, especially using my vintage cameras. I tried it, but I always get lens flare that ruins the pictures. How can I set the camera settings when it's so dark? Cars ruin my pictures, always coming into the frame, headlights on, and ruin an otherwise great image. I don't feel safe going out on my own at night. Well, I will try to answer the above questions based on my own experience taking pictures at night. In most cases, I set the lens aperture to f8 and in bulb mode using a cable release with the camera on a tripod. Getting the exposure right, well, it's not an exact science, but in my experience, always give more exposure than you think you need. I meter using a handheld light meter set in the incident mode. That's using the dome on the meter, pointing the dome back to the camera in an area of the scene where there is sufficient light for the meter to work and reveal shadow detail. In this example, I took the light reading from the area shown. There was sufficient light in that shadow area to get a reading. The meter's dome was facing towards the camera lens. In this next example, the incident reading was taken in the shadow area shown by the red pointer. You might not see it on screen, but there was enough light to get a reading in the shadows to reveal shadow detail. In night photography, there's a big dynamic range from the deep shadows and the very bright highlights. Don't worry too much about the highlights. The golden rule is to expose for the shadows and develop for the highlights. When I develop film that I've shot at night, I always reduce development time by around 30% and sometimes a little more, providing enough exposure has been given to see some shadow detail. Type of developer plays a big part in this. Two-part compensating developers such as Pyrocat HD or Kodak HC110 single shot developer, to name two, will reduce negative density in the highlights and stop them from overdeveloping. It is something that you do get used to with time and experience. As regards film's reciprocity failure, you can use a film called Fuji Cross to keep exposure times to a minimum. For most other films, I use a phone app called Reciprocity Timer. This works great and in my opinion gives better times than the manufacturer's stated ones. Briefly, reciprocity failure is how to describe film reacting unevenly to exposure. When you start to reduce the number of photons hitting the film in low light levels, exposure times need to be extended. This app will tell you how long is needed for a given film. Sometimes, depending on the type of camera, focusing can be very difficult at night, especially with vintage cameras. This brief video will show you how to focus using hyperfocal distance and zone focus on your lens, providing it has a depth of field scale. In this video, I'm going to show you how to set a hyperfocal distance and zone focus on a manual focus lens. First of all, let's look at the numbers and the scales on the lens. Obviously, this is the aperture ring, which we're all familiar with. This lens goes from f22, the smallest aperture, to f1.7 being the widest. This is the fixed aperture scale, which is duplicated either side of the red index mark. So we have f22 on the left and f22 on the right, f16, f16 and so on. This is the distance scale. Blue is in feet, yellow is in meters, and this is the infinity mark. To set hyperfocal distance, first of all we need to set an aperture, let's say in this example f16, then move the infinity mark to register with the f16 mark on the scale, then we can read off the scale. So everything from 8 feet to infinity will be in focus. If we use, say, f8, we'll again move the infinity mark to register with f8. At f8 we'll be looking round about 13 foot to infinity will be in focus. So that's how to use or set hyperfocal distance. Now let's look at zone focus. We'll go back to f16, and this time I'm going to use, say, 25 feet. I'll align that with the f16 registration mark, and then we read off the scale. So everything from 7 feet to 25 feet will be in focus. Anything below 7 feet will be out of focus, and anything beyond 25 feet will be out of focus. If we go to f8 and use 25 feet again, everything from, I would say, 10 feet to 25 feet will be in focus. If we go back to f16 and use 12 feet as the distance and line that with the f16 registration mark, look at this side, everything from 5 feet to 12 feet will be in focus. And so that's how you zone focus and set hyperfocal distance. When I compose a shot and there's a very bright light source to the side of the lens, I try to recompose and find an angle where that bright light is shielded with an object within the scene, so no bare light can cause flare. Or like in this example, I place the bright light in the composition behind the tree trunk. I always carry a piece of black card. If during the exposure something such as car headlights are going to ruin the shot, I always place the card in front of the lens, pause the timer, when the offending car has passed, remove the card and restart the timer. So let's take a look at some of my night images taken with various film cameras. The Rolleiflex 3.5F, Voigtlander Besser RF, Voigtlander Besser 2, Pentax LX and the Holger 120N.